Welcome to the NitWits, a weekly roundtable discussion on the Penn State Nittany Lions, now in its 22nd season. Our panel features a longtime Penn State media and NitWits tag team, Neil Rudell of the Altoona Mirror and Mark Brennan of Lions 247 with Fight on State. The NitWits are hosted by WTAJ Sports Director Peter Terpstra, and each week we welcome a former Nittany Lion as our special guest analyst. The NitWits are brought to you by Irwin Financial, Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Coldwell Banker Town & Country Real Estate, Blair County's home-a-day realtor. By Courtesy Motor Sales of Altoona, where courtesy means a great deal. By Encompass Health, a higher level of care. Encompass Healthcare. Ask for us by name. By Monarch Cleaners, for all your dry cleaning, carpet cleaning, and rug cleaning. By Reed and Solani Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntington. By Allegheny Street Cigar, Allegheny Street Cigar, Blair County's only cigar lounge. By McAleer's Plumbing, specializing in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning, serving our community since 1886. By Freedom RV, get ready to tailgate this Penn State football season with Freedom RV Rentals. By Jethro's, serving ribs, steaks, Italian specialties, and the famous Prospector salad since 1983. Takeouts, delivery, and catering. By Lucky's Beer Distributor. Let Lucky's Beer get you ready for PSU game day. By Remax Results Realty Group, committed to a culture of professionalism, productivity, and exceptional service. By Dorman's Jewelry, the answer is always Dorman's. Fullington Trailways, offering round-trip transportation to and from Beaver Stadium from a variety of locations in State College and hotels in the Altoona area. Gio's Barbecue, award-winning hickory smoked ribs, chicken, and much more. By Star Beverage. No matter what type of weather, we are a convenient drive-through one-stop beer store. By Lions 247 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Sunday.
Welcome to Nittany Nation Overtime.
Hey, hi, hello. First one of the year, first edition of Nittany Nation Overtime. I'm joined by the NitWits, Neil Rudell, Mark Brennan, and our special guest today, former Penn State wideout Joe Nastasi. Thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate it.
We got a lot to talk about.
New glasses and everything,
Yeah,
Joey. Good to see you.
Looking good, looking fresh.
Trying to keep up.
2019 season, a lot to talk about for Penn State football. We're going to start with the offense, Neil, and I'm going to start with you. You lose an NFL quarterback in Trace McSorley. You lose an NFL second-round pick running back in Miles Sanders. Do they lose a step?
Well, I think so. I think they have to prove that they can replace that leadership, the presence on the field, getting them in and out of situations, the huddle audibles that McSorley was second nature to him. You don't lose maybe the greatest leader of all time, or certainly on a short list, without a transition. So I think that's, to me, where it starts. I know there's some other issues on offense that we'll get to, but not only the quarterback, but the backup. You really haven't taken a meaningful snap there. So I think that's the biggest question mark to me.
Yeah, I mean, they're obviously confident in Sean Clifford. He's a guy who they weren't afraid to throw into the bowl game and not only put him in there, but on the first play, go deep. And he would have had a long completion had Tompkins caught the ball. But to me, as much as people are focused on Sean Clifford here and Will Levis, who's probably going to be the backup, I think the bigger question is going to be with the offensive line. I think the quarterbacks are going to be fine, given a little bit of time. But you look at that offensive line, to me it's underperformed the last few years, and now you're bringing in a starting left tackle who's a redshirt freshman in Rasheed Walker. I think Walker's going to be the next Levi Brown type player. I think he has that sort of upside, but he's young. He redshirted last year, only played in 3 or 4 games, and it's going to take time for that O-line to come together. They have to keep these quarterbacks healthy, especially Sean Clifford, and I think that starts with the O-line.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Mark, with the offensive line. I mean, you know, you get some newer guys back there and they could fit in well, but you sort of lose the it factor with Trace and not having that. You think about over his career how many times we've been able to win games that we were really, in a sense, out of But with his belief and him keeping the team, that's certain aspect of what he brought to the team is going to be missed, and we're going to see if somebody's able to replace that part.
I'm curious why they didn't, as we tape this, they haven't named a starter. They had an opportunity Tuesday.
Yep.
I thought that's kind of why the thing was scheduled, to get that out of the way. You have any sense of that?
Well, that was a weekly availability. They just moved it up a day because there were
Right.
some practice things. But I think everybody knows who the starter's going to be. Barring an injury, it's going to be Sean Clifford. I mean, he's gotten the majority of first-team reps. I just think it's something where James Franklin wants to keep Levis engaged. Listen, Will Levis all he did last year basically was play on the foreign team. So when you lose Tommy Stevens, that bumps Levis up to probably the second teamer. I think they want to make sure that he's as engaged and getting as many first team reps as possible going into the season, because if Clifford gets banged up, you need Levis to be ready.
Sure.
And we'll see how long we're talking about quarterbacks. I mean, hopefully you're expecting a starter named, clear cut before the first game, and maybe you're not switching more than one guy in. That always seems to be the best case scenario. But let's talk about the defensive side of the ball for a bit. It seems like they have a lot of experience coming back, and this might be the strength of the team, when last year it might have been the question marks.
Well, I think they have to develop a closer's mentality. They've allowed too many, I know there's a different cast, but they've allowed too many big leads, squandered, and this has been a pattern now, body of work, 2.5+ years, where you're up on somebody in the fourth quarter, and Brent Pry talked about it at Media Day, adjusting their substitutions, because rushing the passer is the most physically demanding thing out there. So they have to be able to put away leads better than they have in the past.
Well, there's been a lot of talk about how athletic this team is, and Joe, I mean, you probably could gauge this as well as anybody. To me, this is the most athletic defense they've had since 1999. Across the board, when you look at their D linemen, we're looking at some of them now, their linebackers in their secondary, especially that D line. You have Vitor Gross-Matos, you have Jason Owe, you have Shaka, Tony, you have all these players. Shane Simmons is coming back, so they're going to unleash people in waves. But Neil, to me, that's the key. I think when you have this depth and this much athleticism, I think they have to rotate a bunch of guys to keep them fresh, maybe not stay with the same players as much as they did. And the other thing you're going to see is a lot of nickel and dime type stuff, because they have enough defensive backs that they can do that with a linebacker who's athletic as Micah Parsons.
Yeah, they definitely, depth is the key, I believe, in this team, because they are going to have some fresh legs. They are going to be able to get after teams in the fourth quarter. Athletically, you look at it, and I know one of my guys from last year, Keaton Ellis, is really in the mix right now at corner. So he's doing really well. But again, there's a lot of NFLers over there on that defensive side of the ball. And, early, defense always travels. So we're going to see when we go to these bigger games. That's going to have to be the backbone of this team this year.
One of your guys, of course, Joey coaches at State College High School, and that's where Ellis is from.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see a lot of him, especially in those nickel and dime situations. Their corners are pretty clear-cut starters in Reed and Tariq Castro Fields, and I think Castro Fields has an opportunity to have a huge year.
Yes.
Reed is going to be better this year because I think he's completely healthy off of that ACL injury. But you're going to see younger guys sprinkled in there. The key position in the secondary is that one safety spot. You're looking at Lamont Wade, junior college transfer Jaquan Brisker. They need one of those guys to really step up, or both of them, and be really dominant. At the other spot, I think Taylor's going to be fine. But otherwise on defense, I think they're pretty loaded.
Taylor's a good player. He proved that last year. But I hope they find a spot for Sutherland. I thought he was impressive the second half of last year.
He is. He's a big hitter, and I think the issue that he's going to have is that he's playing behind Taylor, who's kind of one of their leaders back there. But Neil, it's another situation where they will rotate those safeties. I think, to me though, I mentioned the other spot only because either Lamont Wade or Brisker, the JUCO transfer from Lackawanna, that's one spot on defense that they really need to tighten up. I think they're going to be fine at D-tackle. Windsor is a really good player, and they have some younger guys who are going to provide depth there. P.J. Mustafer, Antonio Shelton has played a lot. But I think, to me, that safety spot is key.
All right, I got to cut in. Coming up next on Nittany Nation Overtime, we got to take a look at special teams, and we got to take a look at some guys who need to step up and make some plays next.
The Nitwits are brought to you by Irwin Financial, Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Coldwell Banker Town & Country Real Estate, Blair County's home-a-day realtor. By Courtesy Motor Sales of Altoona, where courtesy means a great deal. By Encompass Health, a higher level of care. Encompass Healthcare. Ask for us by name. By Monarch Cleaners, for all your dry cleaning, carpet cleaning, and rug cleaning. By Reed and Solani Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntington.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Welcome back to Nittany Nation Overtime. One part of the game that maybe Penn State needed to improve on would be special teams. What do you think about that?
That's an understatement, Peter.
Yeah,
they changed coaches, and the new guy appears to have a lot of enthusiasm. The players are buying in. You talk to them, they talk about being able to show enthusiasm, and it just seems there was a new attitude on special teams. But yeah, the organization of them just didn't seem like it was overly impressive last year.
Well, they went out and got Joe Lorig, and I think he just the sense that we've gotten from being around practice a little bit and seeing him at camps and stuff. There seems to be kind of a renewed energy. Talking to Blake Gillikin out at Big Ten Media Days, he kind of said the same thing. They're doing things a little bit differently in terms of the way they coach, where it's for each unit they're coaching each different position. So if there's a meeting for, say, the punt team, somebody will deal with the punter, somebody will deal with the blockers, somebody will deal with the up men.
Right.
It's that sort of thing. So they're kind of compartmentalizing, and I think that's key. But obviously, this is an area of special teams where across the board they have to be better than they were last year, and especially with that field goal kicking thing. Whether it's Jake Pinniger or Stout, the new kid, they have to get somebody who's consistent kicking field goals because they figure to be in a lot of tight games this year.
Well, you would think they wouldn't have brought in a kid from Virginia Tech who has a track record if they didn't intend to play him.
Well, he's going to kick off for sure, but that's still a battle for the kickoff for the field goal spot. I mean, remember, Pinniger's on scholarship too, so you're not just going to get rid of a scholarship kicker. So there's a lot invested. You have 2 scholarships now invested in kickers, and they have to get more production. This kid, Stout, kicking off, people are going to have a blast watching him because he puts it out of the end zone. It's fun.
Yeah.
All right, Joe, if you were to pick some guys who are going to have to step up, have to produce, who would it be?
Are you talking on special teams?
No, talking across the board.
Across the board. I think that the running back spot and the quarterback spot, I think, are going to be critical this year. Now, as far as wide receivers go, again, we're sort of brand new out there as well. So, somebody in that offensive group there in those skill positions. I know we're talking a lot about Clifford, but again, no real game time experience as far as games on the line situations. So those quarterbacks, as soon as he takes the reins and gets solid, I think it's going to be a trickle down. I like Kane in the backfield. I like Ford, the young kid. Really, I think it's going to fall more on the quarterback's shoulders this year for us to have a successful year.
And who helps the quarterback the most here? I mean, it's Ricky Ronnie. They're going to be trying to get the ball, I would think, out of his hands pretty quickly. Some dumps, tight ends to the backs. As Moorhead said a couple of years ago, they have an embarrassment of riches. I mean, they have tons of skill players, but I would go back to, you said the redshirt freshman on the line. To me, Gonzalez and Mennett. Some of that these are the veterans that have played multiple years.
Well, the O-line in general has to step up. One guy to watch out for on offense is Jahan Dotson. I know we're looking at the O-line here, but I think you know what you're going to get out of KJ Hamler.
Right.
I mean, he's a dynamic player. They need a complementary player. Justin Shorter has an opportunity to do that if he's healthy, but I think Jahan Dotson is a guy who can really step up and do some things for them.
Yeah, from the receiver aspect. I mean, you do know KJ, but we got to stay healthy out there too, which just every team says the same thing. But again, we need that one more edge guy that can get it downfield.
All right, coming up next, those are some of the guys that need to rise up, right? New faces, some of the underdogs who can sneak into the lineup maybe you might not think of. Next.
The NitWits are being brought to you by Allegheny Street Cigar. Allegheny Street Cigar, Blair County's only cigar lounge. By McAleer's Plumbing, specializing in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning, serving our community since 1886. By Freedom RV. Get ready to tailgate this Penn State football season with Freedom RV Rentals. By Jethro's, serving ribs, steaks, Italian specialties, and the famous Prospector salad since 1983. Takeouts, delivery, and catering by Lucky's Beer Distributor. Let Lucky's Beer get you ready for PSU game day. By Remax Results Realty Group. Committed to a culture of professionalism, productivity, and exceptional service.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Welcome back to Nittany Nation Overtime. We're still here with the NitWits, and it's time to talk some guys that might be flying under the radar that you might not expect, but can make a big jump this season. Neil, who are you thinking?
I know he's this wouldn't, and Brennan will rip me all year for
All
pulling
year.
out an over-the-radar guy. But
Here we go. Micah Parsons again.
yeah, I'll back away from it. I wondered about Ellis Brooks. Every time he's been in there, I think he's been a good run stuffer. He's not a guy that's being talked about a lot. Of course, you have veteran linebackers with Brown and Johnson and a budding superstar maybe with Parsons. But I wonder about Ellis Brooks.
Yeah, to me, Jason Owe is a guy to keep an eye on. He's a redshirt freshman, defensive end, ridiculously athletic. You won't realize how big he is unless you have an opportunity to stand next to him. And he's 6'6" and 260 pounds, runs 4.4 40-yard dash. He is not going to start, but they are going to play him a lot. You'll see him in situations where they may bump Etor to tackle, and you bring this guy in, and so you have Etor inside, you have Shaka Toney, you have Jason Owe, you have Micah Parsons blitzing. I think this is going to be tailor-made for a young guy like Jason Owe to have a bunch of sacks this year.
Joe, who are you thinking?
Well, I have two guys that I was thinking, and I'm not sure either one of them's under the radar because we've been talking about them so much, but I'm going to say, with Cam Brown, because he gets overshadowed a little bit by Micah. I mean, I just think he's an amazing talent, going to be playing on Sundays. And, again, I go back to the State High, Keaton Ellis. I mean, again, I know there's been some talk about him, but he's young, and to be that young and that good, I mean, he's a special talent. I know that firsthand. Peanut. That's my guy, Peanut. I named him that. I told him, I said, if you're going to get recruited, you got to have a good nickname.
Explain to people real quick. The thing about Keaton Ellis is a defensive back, and I saw an awful lot of him at State High, is he has the ball skills of a wide receiver. Mm-hmm. I mean, doesn't he? I mean, he's a guy, so you're going to see him back there making plays on footballs that almost as if he's a receiver.
Sure, yeah, total athlete. I mean, the guy is just exceptional, tremendous student, and even better person. So, easy guy to root for. So
one guy I'll throw out there, and this will be from the Neil school of somebody who's been around for a while. But
you're learning.
Nick Bowers is a guy who he's a fifth-year senior, one of the few in the program. He's been injured throughout his career. This guy has the athletic ability to be a big-time NFL tight end. He just has to be healthy. And if you're able to pair him with Freiermuth, again, if Bowers can stay healthy, you could have one of the best tight end tandems in the nation.
James raved about Bowers at Media Day. He also raved about Michael Schuster. And I don't know whether it's just kind of like to acknowledge the effort and leadership he's put in.
Bowers is legit.
No, I understand. But I'm just wondering, is a third-team quarterback in an emergency if they want to redshirt if they get in a jam?
Well, no, they're in a situation now where you can play your freshman quarterbacks 4 games and still redshirt them. So if there's an emergency, you're going to see one of the true freshmen play.
All right. Lots of good guys to look out for. I'm really expecting to see some cool things out of Keaton Ellis. He was our high school play of the year as a wide receiver for State High.
Right.
And I thought that was very impressive. All right, coming up next, the big question. Big Tens are bust or bust. How good will this next team be?
The NitWits are being brought to you by Dorman's Jewelry. The answer is always Dorman's. Fullington Trailways, offering round-trip transportation to and from Beaver Stadium from a variety of locations in State College and hotels in the Altoona area. Gio's Barbecue, award-winning hickory smoked ribs, chicken, and much more by Star Beverage. No matter what type of weather, we are a convenient drive-through one-stop beer store. By Lions 247 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State Game Day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Sunday.
You're watching Nittany Nation Overtime.
Hey, hi, hello. We're going to wrap up our first edition of Nittany Nation Overtime with the NitWits. All right, prediction time. 12-game regular season. I'm going to go to Mark. Our reigning Nitwit of the Year.
Yeah.
Nitwit of the Year. Wow, it's a tough mantle to kind of hold. Listen, as I look at this team, Neil touched on it earlier. That first 4 games is going to be huge in terms of how it's able to develop. Right now, and I always stick with my pick, but I'm going 9-3, and the reason I'm doing that is because I still wonder about that offensive line. I think they're going to be fine over on defense. I think their offensive skill positions are going to be fine. Clifford's going to end up kind of building into the quarterback that Penn State needs. But over the last couple years, I've just not been able to trust that offensive line. They have some very difficult road games at Ohio State, at Michigan State, at Iowa, at Minnesota. So I think this is going to be another 9-3 team. But I think you're looking at next year, they're going to be able to build to something much bigger next year.
You said that last year.
Well, I didn't expect the offense. I expected the offensive line to be better last year. Honestly, I did.
I'm going 8-4. I'm trying to be optimistic. For sure, the road schedule is brutal. I can't remember a more difficult one. Iowa's lost to them 2 consecutive years, kind of in the last play or last minute. They were down at the goal line last year and fumbled that away. You got to go to Michigan State again, obviously Ohio State. Maryland in the season opener. They've dominated Maryland.
Big Ten
Big Ten opener, yeah. And with the new coach down there, if Maryland ever has any energy, for this would be, you would think would be it. And you don't know about Minnesota up there,
Right.
so and Michigan at home. So I'm saying 8-4, and I think things need to go right with the quarterback to even get to that point.
All right, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's just the season, the way this road schedule set up. Again, I want to stay extremely optimistic with a 10-2 season here. I think it's going to be one you expect, one you don't expect. I mean, I kind of see it that way, and I think they'll learn from the one you don't expect. But again, getting one of those, and I hate to say it like this, but sometimes, getting kicked in the teeth on one you didn't expect turns into a great road schedule or a road team for you later on. You start to win, you start to come together. We're going to see. I mean, I see a lot of question marks just because of not the quarterback talent, but that leadership, that trace that we've known for so long now. So, that's where I see it. I see us at a 10-2.
All right, I'm going with Neil, 8-4, but I think maybe a surprise loss. I don't know what it is, but I just look at that Purdue game, homecoming. It seems like a chance for a letdown there. So that's where I'm sticking with. And let's talk about Idaho.
Hold on, Mike Irwin, I think, would go 11-1, right?
Okay, yeah.
I mean, he goes 11-1.
He's surprised
no,
you
he
got
never goes
2 losses,
12-0,
Joe.
does he? He always goes 11-1.
I
So,
like
Mike,
the fact-
we were giving you some love.
Yeah, and you're waving around a pen, and I'll tune a mirror pen,
Yeah.
so we'll get an Irwin Financial pen in here.
Nice. All right, so Idaho, the Vandals, August 31st. Wait, I'm going to go first. Score predictions. I'm going to go 28-9, Penn State.
You're going to be low.
I think Penn State is going to come out and play really well in the first game. I think that Idaho is going to be an overmatched team. I'm looking at it a 35-7 game.
Wow. I'm going to, Fresno State put 79 on this team. I think they play West New Mexico State at one point. I see a big number here, 58-3. I think James will try to ice the kicker for Idaho. He'll make it this time because we know how aggressive he is with a 50-point lead. You might see another one this week.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Neil on this one. I'm going 48-10. I just don't see. They're just totally overmatched.
All the numbers are clicking in our heads to see who.
I mean, I'm sitting here like, I'm the low guy, but you never know. Season opener,
It's true.
App State, but App State was a really good team.
It is cool to see a different sort of opponent coming in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, going out and
sure.
scheduling this team as an opener, not that it's a powerhouse team, but to see somebody we really never have seen before.
Right.
Hopefully the parking will go okay.
Oh
Yeah,
boy! Oh
yeah.
boy! Talk about jinxing something.
All right, that's going to do it for our first edition of Nittany Nation Overtime. Fellas, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it, folks. We'll see you next week.
The NitWits are brought to you by Irwin Financial, Raymond James, a firm foundation for your financial future. By Coldwell Banker Town and Country Real Estate, Blair County's home-a-day realtor. By Courtesy Motor Sales of Altoona, where courtesy means a great deal. By Encompass Health, a higher level of care. Encompass Healthcare. Ask for us by name. By Monarch Cleaners, for all your dry cleaning, carpet cleaning, and rug cleaning. By Reed and Solani Orthodontics, providing friendly, family-focused orthodontic care in Altoona, Bedford, and Huntington. By Allegheny Street Cigar. Allegheny Street Cigar, Blair County's only cigar lounge. By McAlear's Plumbing, specializing in plumbing, heating, and air conditioning, serving our community since 1886. By Freedom RV. Get ready to tailgate this Penn State football season with Freedom RV Rentals. By Jethro's, serving ribs, steaks, Italian specialties, and the famous Prospector salad since 1983. Takeouts, delivery, and catering. By Lucky's Beer Distributor. Let Lucky's Beer get you ready for PSU game day. By RE/MAX Results Realty Group, committed to a culture of professionalism, productivity, and exceptional service. By Dorman's Jewelry, the answer is always Dorman's. Fullington Trailways, offering round-trip transportation to and from Beaver Stadium from a variety of locations in State College and hotels in the Altoona area. Gio's Barbecue, award-winning hickory smoked ribs, chicken, and much more. By Star Beverage. No matter what type of weather, we are a convenient drive-through one-stop beer store. By Lions 247 with Fight on State, your online home for Penn State football and recruiting coverage. And by the Altoona Mirror, featuring Penn State game day every Friday and Penn State Extra every Sunday. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.